I have a correspondence from none other than a VA rater on how they prefer to see a veteran's claim. I want you to make it as easy as possible when you submit a claim to be service connected and given the appropriate rating. And this time it's coming from a VA rater, not me. So if you're submitting a new claim, this video is absolutely for you. This is step 4 in what I call 5-step process. There's going to be a playlist link down below. Step 1's increases, secondaries, denials, new claims. That's this one. And then the next one will be presumptives and Tara. Again, that'll be a link down below in the pinned comment. So anyways, here's the email. All right, let me pull up this email. I snipped it and made sure his identifiable information is not available for obvious reasons. VA raters aren't really supposed to be talking to anyone. So I'm going to protect this person at all cost here. But the idea is to make it as easy as possible for the rater, who's a normal dude just like you and me. They're human. It's our responsibility as veterans. We should do our due diligence and make it as easy as possible for the rater to find the relevant evidence so they can award you the appropriate rating and, more importantly, service connection. So looking at the email here, you asked in the last few weeks what I, a VSR, would like to see when I work on a fellow vet application for benefits. Best advice I can give, and I totally agree with what he's about to say, is get your C file and review it. Go through it and highlight, that part's key there, highlight it every time something happens, whether it's sick call, profile, or even a motor vehicle accident, whatever the evidence from service is. When you have that, go through your private treatment records and add that to the pile. When you have all of that, complete your 526 EZ so it can be zested. You can submit your claim online as well. 526 EZ is the analog style, especially if you're going through a VSO. Additionally, submit a 4138. This part's key here. Submit that personal statement that outlines, or I'll read the email, your packet where you can specify what you want me to look for. I've used this method below for HLRs and have had great success. I'm also using this for family members. So although he mentions HLRs, this goes for any and all claims. Supplemental claims, higher level reviews, and then new claims. Submitting your evidence up front with your claim and then highlighting the relevant evidence. So for instance, if you're submitting a bilateral knee condition claim, like you have left knee strain, right knee strain, probably don't need to submit your blood work records, right? But you do want to highlight and submit evidence from service, any current medical evidence. Let's say you went to the VA, you're getting physical therapy, you're on a painkiller medication, whatever that looks like for you, you want to highlight evidence from service, the current diagnosis, which we understand as elements for, hey, you need evidence from service to be service connected, part of the big 3, and then you need a current diagnosis to be service connected. No diagnosis, no claim. But he gives us some examples here for headaches. Service treatment records on 15 January 1970. I went to sick call for allergies and headaches, and so that would be highlighted there. 10 April 1974, went to Camp Cooks for allergies, testing, received, diagnosis. So that would be highlighted. And these 1, 2, 3, 4 and your headaches, this is on your personal statement, right? So what the statement does, think of it like a treasure map. You know, your little kid, we're playing Dora the Explorer. This is you over here. There's a dotted line and then X marks the treasure. That's what you're doing here. You're saying, hey, VA rater, here we are. Okay, here's my evidence from service. 1, listed out. 2, listed out. 3, here's my evidence from the VA from last year. You're showing continuity of symptoms, a persistent disability, whatever that dotted line is. And then that X that marks the treasure is service connection. And I think making it easy for the VA raters, they're going to appreciate it. Okay, I promise you that. But 3, sick call, 5 August 1972, sick call for headache. And then 4, prescribed whatever medication, 5 August 1972. And then obviously part of this headache one, there'd be 5, 6, 7, 8 of current medical evidence. Are you using Gammacore as a treatment prescribed by the VA? Are you taking rizatriptan or sumatriptan or amitriptyline every single night? What does that look like for you? There's some other examples here. Allergies. Service treatment records on 15 January 1970. I went to sit call for allergies and headaches. 10 April 1974. Went to Camp Cooks for allergies. Allergies testing. Received diagnosis positive. Diagnosis 25 May 1974. 3 prescribed blank for 5 August 78. Civilian doctor 25 July 1990. That's a good continuity of symptom there. Functional of endoscopic sinus surgery. And then we have the upper and lower back. Here's the real deal. Should veterans have to do this? No. Is it a requirement? No. But I'll tell you this, Jason from Veterans Infotap on our joint channel, Veterans Daily, he always says VA disability claims are $1 million deal, and they absolutely are. From 10% all the way to 100%, it's $1 million deal. And so you should absolutely take the time, okay? Absolutely take the time to understand your evidence. What's really cool here is these little lists of personal statements, like for headaches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would have 5, 6, 7, 8 for current medical evidence. What's really cool is not only do you submit that up front with your claim, but one, you understand where your evidence is in your service records and your VA records. You can take this statement to the C&P examiner. The C&P examiner does not care about your statement, just food for thought. They don't care, okay? But you can have it and say, hey, I submitted this with my VA claim. It outlines my relevant medical evidence to headaches and migraines. And now you have a list. So when the C&P examiner says, hey, did you ever complain in service about your headaches? Right there at the exam, I'm reading it, okay? Act like this is my paper. Let me get my hands correct here. There we go. I'm holding my statement. I'll say, well, why, yes, I did, sir and or ma'am. I have service treatment records from 15 January 1970, yada, 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 April 1974, right? You can now have that talk. And just like you're marking that dotted line to X marks the spot for treasure for the VA rater, you're also doing it for the examiner, right? If you can just walk the examiner, say, hey, I have evidence from service. For the headache example in the 70s, you're going to want to show a chronic, persistent, debilitating disability there. And so you go through all your evidence from the 70s to right now, show that continuity, show VA records, private records, whatever the case may be, your current medical evidence, your current symptoms, and boom, X marks the spot. Headaches is the example here, but you can do that for any and every claim. With the exception of presumptive conditions, I wouldn't worry about that. Not for service connection. I would worry about it for detailing your current symptoms. That part's going to be key there. And that's going to help the VA rater, the C&P examiner, and you out. This is like how to submit a claim on steroids, okay? Can you submit a claim willy-nilly on va.gov and file and forget? You can, depending on your evidence and how easy it is to find. You'll be service connected that way. Okay, I was service connected that way for a lot of my claims. For those who don't have that, okay, and really want to put the best foot forward, this is absolutely something that you should look at. Again, any new claims that have never been filed before, any HLRs or supplemental claims, this is a technique that I would recommend every day of the week. Anyways, if you made it to the end, thank you very much. That's all I got. And until next time.